We're in the village of Guime, which kind of sits above Playa Honda. Sweeping round so that you can see it and orient yourselves. We're on the main road, bit of traffic here. That's Arrecife down the hill there. The windmills, Montaña Blanca, which is where all the cell phone and television and radio masts are. That's San Bartolome over there in the distance. And back round to where we started. To Guime. So let's talk about Guime. As we'll see in a bit, originally a relatively small village, but it grew fairly explosively in the 1980s. A lot of British people who were originally living in Puerto del Carmen decided to move out to get more space and good views, and they moved up to Guime, bought plots of land, and there's lots of modern villas down on that hill over there overlooking the airport and the ocean. But the original heart of the village, and we'll go up there in a minute, is actually up this way. We're now in the centre of Guime. This is the Sociedad, the heart of every Spanish pueblo. Years ago, this was a bit of a hive of activity. They used to have regular sales for lads, which was the Animal Appreciation Society, and all kinds of things used to go on here. We used to be up here, I don't know, at least once a month in the old days, but I'm going back 20 years now. There's a children's playground here, the gorgeous little church, and in this part of town the buildings are traditional Canarian style buildings, as you can see. We've just walked past a beauty which was or is a Casa Rural, some kind of small hotel. But there across there you can see, not in great nick, but another very nice Canarian style building. So there's kind of two parts to Guime. There's this original village with this cool bus stop here. There's a shop as well in this area, but then it's spread out a long way. I mean, it's a good kilometre from where we originally filmed now, but all of that is modern villas and modern properties where people have bought land and built probably over the last 25 to 30 years. But there's one spot in Guime I want to take you to because I absolutely love it, and used to come here a lot in the early days just to watch the aircraft take off from. This is the back of the house in not very good condition that we're just looking at, and I just wanted to show you that little avenue of Canarian palms. And I'm going to correct myself as well. I said the sales at the Sociedad were for lads. Lads is the Lanzarote Amateur Dramatic Society. It's actually for an organisation called PALS, which I think is still going and is now called New PALS. And this is the beautiful Casa Rural I mentioned, El Caserio de Guime. And I'm just going to stride past, excuse me panting, and show you this lovely building. Look at that, how gorgeous is that? With the original Canarian style drains. So I brought you down here for a couple of reasons. I mean, one, there's a fantastic view of Guime from here. So you can see the much more modern villas that were built coming down the hill. We were, if I place where we were into the center of the screen now, you can see it spread to the left and to the right. But I brought you here for a reason, because it's probably the best view of the runway and the airport on the island. Unfortunately, there's no air traffic at the moment, as we're in the middle of a pandemic, so there's nothing for you to see take off, but it's great standing here watching aircraft take off and how low they go over the buildings in Playa Honda. When we first came to the island 20 years ago, there wasn't nearly as much air traffic as there is now, but on a busy day, which in those days were Thursdays and Sundays, also Tuesday was German day, we would rush up here in the car and sit here, 4 of us, 2 kids and Julie and myself in the car, and just watch the planes take off. It was pretty exciting. And looking down there, we can see Playa Honda. You can probably see all the cars parked in the Orvakami car showroom glistening in the sunshine. And in the distance, there's the Arrecife Grand Hotel. Down here is what used to be called Strawberry Farm, and it was a strawberry farm a long time ago, and eventually became a British supermarket. So all of the Brits who moved up from Puerto del Carmen to Guime would drive down the hill to grab their Marmite and tea bags and those various other indispensable bits and pieces you find. I'll just sweep slowly round to the right so you can see more of the island. There's a big quarry the other side of this mound, and in the far distance there, I'm not sure what that town is actually. I'm just trying to work it out. It's Tias, yes, of course it is. Thank you, Julie pointed that out to me. So there you go, that's Guime. We've come up to Montaña Blanca, which is just a little way up the hill from Guime, and is named after this mountain, Montaña Blanca, the white mountain. Of course, at the moment it's Montaña Verde, the green mountain, but normally it is very white. I don't know whether you'll be able to see this on video, but centre of screen now is the Arrecife Grand Hotel, and this is the original town Aljibe. And up here we have the lovely little church and the school. This is a great stepping off point for walks. We've been on some really good walks, and we will seem to meet here and head off. And in fact, there's a sign here which tells you about the network of hiking trails in Spanish, English and German, which go from here. There's a lovely old ruin across there with a wine press in it. And there's nothing much else to Montaña Blanca. It's just houses that have been built down the hill going towards Guime, some of them with views, some of them without. It's quite high, as you can see. We're probably between 300 and 400 meters above sea level. So that's Montaña Blanca. We've come up from Guime to Conil, and again, as always, there's a lovely little church here. This is another stepping off point for the Red de Senderos, which is the hiking trails network. And there's a cracking Sociedad here, closed at the moment, obviously due to the current restrictions. There's also an epic view from here down to Tias, and the hill, that hill climb is part of the Ocean Lava Triathlon course. It's horrible. I always hated riding it. Very much like Guime in that it started off Conil as a little village with a church and a few houses, and in the 80s and 90s people realised they could get a lot of space up here, relatively inexpensive land with some fantastic views. And really it's just this one street that runs through Conil, and there are some really nice villas here, and it goes along to La Samada from here. So that's this week from Guime, Montaña Blanca and Conil.